There's a powder you can buy in the cleaning aisle of any hardware store for about $1 per application that does something no $60 rust primer on the shelf beside it can do. It converts rust into armor. Not metaphorically. At the molecular level, phosphoric acid reacts with iron oxide and transforms the corrosion itself into iron phosphate, a dark, rock-hard, crystalline shell that bonds permanently to the steel surface. The rust does not get removed. It does not get dissolved. It gets conscripted. The thing that was destroying the metal becomes the thing protecting it, not a $15 can of rust-inhibiting spray that needs reapplication every 6 to 12 months, not a $60 jug of rust converter primer that sits on the surface like paint and chips off within 2 years, not an $800 to $2,000 a professional rust remediation service that charges half its fee for surface preparation alone. One application of phosphoric acid solution on a rusted steel surface costing less than $1 per square foot, producing a permanent crystalline barrier that is chemically bonded to the metal at the atomic level. No degradation cycle. No annual reapplication. No reason to buy more product ever again. In 1869, a British inventor named William Alexander Ross filed the first patent for this reaction. By 1942, the United States military had scaled it to wartime mass production at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard, where 40,000 workers applied phosphate conversion coatings to destroyer hulls, submarine components, carrier deck fittings, and every M1 Garand rifle coming off the production line under restricted military specification MIAL-DT, Sheet-16232. That specification is still active today. You can download it from the Defense Logistics Agency website for free. Then the coatings industry did the math. The global paints and coatings market generates over $200 billion a year. A $1 treatment that permanently converts rust into a protective barrier cannot be allowed to exist in the consumer awareness of an industry built entirely on products that wear off. They did not stop recommending phosphoric acid because it failed. They stopped because it worked too well. A permanent conversion leaves nothing left to sell. This is the story of phosphate conversion chemistry, the $1 treatment that 4 ancient civilizations discovered independently, that the largest military in human history adopted as standard practice, and that a $200 billion industry prays you never pour into your rusted truck frame. If these stories matter to you, the subscribe button and the bell are the best way to make sure this knowledge survives. Now let me take you back to where this all begins. Roman blacksmiths in the 2nd and 3rd centuries noticed something they could not explain. Iron tools and fasteners dipped into the acidic tanning vats used for processing animal hides came out different. The surface darkened, and unlike untreated iron left in the same workshop, those darkened tools resisted corrosion for months, sometimes years. The tannic acid in those vats contained natural phosphoric compounds that were reacting with the iron surface and forming a rudimentary phosphate conversion layer. The Romans did not know the chemistry. They just knew that dark iron lasted longer than bright iron, so they kept doing it. Thousands of miles away, West African iron smelters in the Knox and Bantu traditions were arriving at the same conclusion through completely different methods. After forging blades and agricultural tools, they treated the finished metal with plant acid washes derived from a fermented bark, fruit pulps, and root extracts containing phosphoric acid in concentrations high enough to visibly darken the iron surface and create a corrosion-resistant film. Archaeological metallurgy studies have confirmed phosphate residues on iron artifacts recovered from sub-Saharan sites dating to the 1st millennium. In feudal Japan, swordsmiths applied acidic clay slurries to blade surfaces before the final tempering stages. These slurries were carefully composed from specific volcanic soils containing mineral acids, including phosphoric compounds leached from the geothermal environment. The slurry left a thin phosphate conversion layer on the steel that enhanced corrosion resistance and contributed to the distinctive surface patterning that collectors still prizing today. This was not decoration. It was corrosion management performed by craftsmen who understood the practical result, even if the molecular mechanism was invisible. Persian metalworkers documented a similar observation in medieval texts. Iron implements stored in certain acidic mineral springs near Isfahan emerged with a darkened, hardened surface that resisted rust far longer than identical iron stored in dry warehouse conditions nearby. The spring water contained dissolved phosphoric compounds from the surrounding geological formations. 4 civilizations, 4 continents, 4 completely independent discoveries of the same chemical reaction. That is not folklore. That is convergent chemistry. Now here's what happens at the molecular level when phosphoric acid contacts rust. And this is the part that the coatings industry does not want explained in plain language. When phosphoric acid contacts iron oxide, the acid donates a phosphate group to the iron atom. The reaction is clean and direct. Iron oxide reacts with phosphoric acid to produce iron phosphate and water. The orange-brown and porous flaking rust, the stuff that crumbles when you press a screwdriver into it, is replaced by a dense, dark, crystalline iron phosphate matrix that is chemically bonded to the underlying steel at the atomic level. This is not a coating sitting on the surface like paint. Paint sits on top. When the bond weakens, it chips and lets moisture underneath where the corrosion starts again. Phosphoric acid conversion transforms the existing corroded material into a new compound. The rust itself has become the protective layer. The disease became the cure. The iron phosphate crystal structure is dense, non-porous, and chemically stable. It does not chip, peel, bubble, or degrade under UV exposure, moisture cycling, or temperature swings. It does not need reapplication because there is nothing to reapply. The iron and the phosphate are one material now, and they will remain one material until the steel itself is destroyed. The modern industrial history accelerated rapidly. In 1906, Thomas Watts Coslett of Birmingham improved the phosphating process and filed British patent 8667, followed by U.S. patent 870,937 in 1907. In 1913, Frank Rupert Granville Richards developed a manganese phosphating variant that produced a darker, more durable coating with superior oil retention. Then a businessman named Clark Parker bought the rights to both patents, ran experiments in his own kitchen in Detroit, and in 1915 founded the Parker Rust-Proof Phosphating Company of America. By 1938, Parker's chemists had developed a zinc-based alternative using domestic zinc reserves from Missouri, Tennessee, and Montana, eliminating dependence on imported manganese. By 1941, the material cost per treated rifle had dropped below 3 cents. The military process they called parkerizing was applied to every M1 Garand rifle, every Colt 1911 pistol, every Browning machine gun mount, every vehicle axle, tank track link, or aircraft landing gear fitting, and naval hardware component under military specification MIL-DTL-16232. The coating did not just prevent rust. It created a microporous surface that absorbed and retained lubricating oils and corrosion-preventive compounds, extending the functional life of moving parts through every combat environment the war presented. Arctic cold in the Aleutian Islands, tropical humidity in the Pacific Theater, salt spray on every vessel in every ocean, sand abrasion in North Africa, and chemical exposure in industrial maintenance depots. The phosphate conversion layer handled all of it at a cost of pennies per unit. While enemy forces were spending time and resources on complex multi-coat paint systems and expensive chromate primers, American equipment was being treated with a chemical conversion that cost 3 cents per rifle and lasted decades without reapplication. That efficiency was a genuine strategic advantage in industrial logistics. The military has continued specifying and applying phosphate conversion coatings continuously for over 8 decades without interruption. Every M1 Garand in every museum and gun collection in America is wearing a phosphate conversion coating that was applied over 80 years ago. Many of those coatings are still intact, still dark, still protecting the steel underneath in both climate-controlled and uncontrolled environments. The knowledge did not disappear after the war. The military kept using it. The specifications have remained active and were updated periodically to reflect improvements in chemistry and application methods. MIL-DTL-16232 is still a current active military standard today. The federal government still requires phosphate conversion coatings on thousands of components across every branch of the armed forces. But the civilian market told a completely different story. If you have made it this far, you already understand more about corrosion protection than 99% of homeowners and most contractors selling rust remediation services. Subscribe and share this with someone about to pay $800 for a treatment that costs $1 per square foot. Now stay with me, because what comes next is the part they really do not want you to hear. The global paints and coatings industry generates over $200 billion in annual revenue. In the United States alone, that figure exceeds $31 billion per year. Sherwin-Williams alone reported revenue above $23 billion in a recent fiscal year. PPG Industries, RPM International, and dozens of other corporations generate billions more. The entire economic model is built on impermanence. Paint wears off, primers degrade, rust-inhibiting sprays need reapplication every 6 to 12 months. Every coat that fails is another sale. Every surface that corrodes is another trip to the hardware store. You cannot patent phosphoric acid. It is a naturally occurring compound found in rock formations across every continent. No corporation can build exclusive manufacturing rights around it. No exclusive rights means no premium pricing. No premium pricing means no marketing budget large enough to compete for shelf space. No marketing budget means no contractor training programs, no television advertising, and no presence in the International Building Code specifications that tell contractors which products are approved. The International Residential Code does not list phosphoric acid conversion as an approved corrosion treatment for structural steel. Not because it was tested and rejected, because no company with enough financial incentive exists to pay for the testing, certification, lobbying, and compliance monitoring required to get a non-proprietary product listed in a code that benefits proprietary manufacturers. The system does not ban phosphoric acid conversion. It excludes it from the approved list and requires contractors to use only approved products. The practical effect is identical to a ban without the legal liability of issuing one. I need to be honest about the limitations, because credibility matters. Phosphoric acid is a weaker mineral acid than hydrochloric or sulfuric, but it will burn skin and damage eyes on contact. Wear nitrile gloves and safety glasses. Work in a ventilated area. Do not use it on aluminum, brass, or copper, only on ferrous metals. The conversion works on surface rust and moderate corrosion, but cannot restore steel that has been structurally compromised by the deep perforation. If you can push a screwdriver through the metal, the steel needs replacement, not conversion. Now here's exactly how to do it. Step 1. Go to any hardware store and look for phosphoric acid in the cleaning aisle of the concrete and masonry section. It is commonly sold under brand names like OSPHA or labeled as a rust converter or concrete etcher. Check the label for a concentration between 10 and 30% phosphoric acid. A quart costs between $4 and $8 and treats dozens of square feet. Your per application cost will be well under $1. Step 2. Remove any loose flaking rust with a wire brush or a stiff bristle brush. Knock off the chunks in heavy scale. But here's the critical difference from every paint-based system on the market. You do not need to sand down to bare metal. The phosphoric acid needs the rust. It feeds on it. The corrosion is the raw material for this chemical conversion. Leave the tight adherent surface rust in place. This eliminates the surface preparation labor that accounts for half the cost of professional rust remediation. Step 3. Using a foam brush, a cotton rags, or a pump spray bottle, apply a thin, even coat of the phosphoric acid solution to the rusted surface. Keep the surface wet for the full reaction period. If the surface begins to dry before the color change is complete, apply more solution. Step 4. Watch. Within 10 to 15 minutes, the orange-brown rust darkens first to a muddy gray, then progressively shifts to a deep blue-black as the conversion proceeds. Run your fingertip across the treated area after about 20 minutes and feel the texture shift from rough and powdery to dense and slightly granular like fine sandpaper. That dark granular surface is your new corrosion barrier. Step 5. Let the treated surface cure undisturbed for 2 to 4 hours. Do not touch it. Do not rinse it. Do not apply anything over it yet. The phosphate matrix is forming interlocking crystal structures with the steel substrate. Step 6. Apply a second coat. Always apply a second coat. The first coat handles the bulk of the visible conversion. The second coat catches remaining unconverted oxide hiding in deep pits, crevices, and weld seams. After the second coat cures, the surface accepts paint, primer, linseed oil, wax, or nothing at all. Total cost for treating a rusted truck frame, a set of wrought iron railings, or a steel fence, under $2. Compare that to an $800 to $2,000 professional rust remediation service, performing the same molecular reaction, with a proprietary label and a longer invoice. A retired mechanic in Billings, Montana, applied phosphoric acid to the undercarriage of a 1987 Ford F250 in 2014. 2 quarts of OSPHO diluted to 15% concentration, $12 in materials. He treated the frame rails, cross members, and suspension mounts in a single afternoon. 10 years later, the treated surfaces show zero new corrosion. The untreated areas on the same truck are perforated with rust holes you can push a finger through. Same truck, same decade of Montana winters and road salt. The only difference was $12 of phosphoric acid. The chemistry inside that $15 can of rust-inhibiting spray sits on the surface like a temporary bandage and degrades within months of exposure to moisture and UV. The chemistry inside a $1 application of phosphoric acid transforms the corrosion itself into a permanent crystalline barrier that is chemically indistinguishable from the steel it protects. One requires annual reapplication and a marketing department to justify the price. The other requires a foam brush and 20 minutes of your afternoon. Every civilization that worked extensively with iron discovered this chemistry independently. Roman blacksmiths knew it dipping tools in tanning vats. West African smelters knew it washing blades with fermented bark acid. Japanese swordsmiths knew it applying volcanic clay slurries. Persian metalworkers knew it storing iron in phosphoric mineral springs. Ross patented it in 1869. Parker industrialized it in 1915. The Philadelphia Naval Shipyard scaled it to wartime production in 1942. The U.S. military has specified it continuously under MIL-DTL-16232 for over 8 decades. And the hardware store 3 miles from your house sells the active ingredient in the cleaning aisle for the price of a cup of coffee. $200 billion in annual coatings revenue depends on you never pouring a dollar's worth of phosphoric acid onto a rusted surface. $60 rust primers depend on you believing that corrosion protection requires a product that sits on top of the metal and chips off. And $800 remediation invoices depend on you never learning that you do not need to sand a bare metal because the acid feeds on the rust itself. This knowledge did not disappear because it stopped working. It disappeared from the consumer awareness because it worked too well and could not generate a single dollar of recurring revenue. Iron phosphate crystals do not care about shelf placement strategies. Molecular conversion does not negotiate with building code lobbying, and a reaction patented in 1869 has never charged a licensing fee. If this video changed how you think about the rust on your truck frame, the corroding fence in your backyard, or the $1 bottle of phosphoric acid sitting in the cleaning aisle, then subscribe and share it now. Every single share puts this knowledge in front of someone the coatings industry assumed would never walk past the primer section, and every subscription keeps this channel digging deeper into the secrets they thought were sealed forever.